if he saves this penalty to put Fnatic in to the semi-finals. He's missed the target! He's missed the target! Heartbreak for Borussia! Ecstasy for Fnatic!
I don't even know how to explain that. I thought I should have won in normal time, so I backed myself in pens. I said to myself, I'm going to be calm if I win, because it's only quarterfinals, but I don't know what got over me, seeing how happy Tex was as well, just, yeah, that's why I went mad, but it's crazy. I can't even explain how penalties is. Obviously, I had it in Atlanta with Harry, here again, but yeah, shout out Harry again, I won another penalty shootout.
On the celebration, Tex, I just need to check, are you okay? Because you got absolutely floored.
No, I thought we was going to be out of the tournament during the penalties, but I'm out of the tournament now with an injury. Like, honestly, go watch the thing back. My neck was like this. I'm injured.
Hey, this is the FIFA eClub World Cup. We are moving into our semi-finals. As you can see, there's been some injuries. There's been some injuries of Tex. I hope he's all right.
Well, I mean, the big question for me is not so much who they put first into the 1v1, it's whether Tex presses charges.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be amazing. You must be proud of Tommy, though.
Oh, I mean, Tom's done fantastically well there. And in all seriousness, I actually think it would be... It's crazy to say this, but it would actually be fairly strange for me if they did pick Tex to play the 1v1 in the next game. When you look at Tom and how he's been performing.
Them. Trying to micromanage.
Not at all. No, they've got to do what they've got to do. But I just think if you look at the form book purely from this tournament,
yeah,
Tom's the choice.
I mean, yeah. But you know, it's not your team.
It's not.
Let it go. All right. All right, let's take a look at the draw moving forwards. So we are getting right up to it now.
We really are. I mean, this is the business end of things. Obviously, semi-finals here. People that get knocked out at this stage is agonisingly close to going the whole way. 11s versus Fnatic is one of the semi-finals there. What a story for the 11s boys. Gareth Bale, I have been told, has been informed, and he knows exactly what's going on.
He's been
and he's buzzing. Today. He's absolutely buzzing with the boys, as I'm sure everyone involved in Fnatic is with those lads. But if you look underneath them as well, you've got AS Roma Esports going up against Complexity, which means there's so many stories. You could have a Roma Fnatic final, two teams that were one team just last year have gone separate ways. What a final that would be. Equally, Complexity doing it for the North American scene on the biggest stage. That would be incredible.
I mean, it's all going to be great. I think we should put them all out of their misery because they are just raring to go. Let's throw it over to our casters and get this semi-final underway.
Thank you very much, guys. And yes, it is time to jump into the semi-final stages of the FIFA eClub World Cup now. We're down to the final four, Richard, and what a quarter-final round that was. Of course, we were watching the backgrounds, but we heard it, we saw all the late goals and all the late drama.
I mean, it was ridiculous, really. Some of the games were coming down to match three. There's only one of the quarterfinals that didn't go to the deciding match. It was a penalty shootout in the end for Fnatic. But the game that we're going to be focusing on in this first semi-final is going to be AS Roma Esports versus Complexity, I believe, Brandon.
Yeah, that is true. From what we can see to the left-hand side, ignore the graphic on your screen. That will be the game that we will be focused on in this matchup. It will be AS Roma up against, of course, it's a Complexity, but this is the other semi-final in front of our eyes, Richard. 11s Esports with Ethan up against Fnatic Tom. Of course, that is what they're going to be kicking off, it seems, on the PlayStation.
That's going to be coming up later, but coming up next, we have got Roma versus Complexity. You can see Maxi VIP there on the screen. Looks like he's going to be starting here. I believe Roma, because they got more points in the group stages, do get to pick which console we start with. They've decided to put forward SpiderKong. He's unbeaten in single competition here in the Club World Cup.
He is. He's the only remaining, of course, unbeaten player in the 1v1 Xbox legs, and that's a fantastic record for the Brazilian after an outroar of emotion yesterday in that round of 16 against FaZe, and then coming into today picking up that all-important 1-0 victory up against Diogo from Sporting Club de Portugal. And now he faces this man, the American in Maxi VIP, a player that has been at many tournaments all around the world, but normally struggles in the knockout stages. It's the furthest he's ever gone in any tournament, Richard. He's here on a championship Sunday, and he's already backed himself up for a win in his previous match up against Team Neo.
How did they get to this stage, I hear you ask? It was a 3-2 win in the round of 16 for Roma, with SpiderKong getting the decisive 2-1 win against Mino versus FaZe. On the other side of that, Complexity with a good win in the round of 16 versus Team Makers. They did it in two, a 1-0 win and a 2v2 decisive see-out in the quarterfinals. Complexity left it late against Neo Esports. Joxan beating Stokes 2-1. For Roma, it came down to the man in your screen again. The clutch player for this Roma Esports side, Spidercon, with a 1-0 victory over Sporting's Diogo.
Well, there was 3 Italian teams that travelled into Milan for the FIFA eClub World Cup, and only one stands still in the competition. That's AS Roma Esports, and they'll be kicking from left to right to get this semi-final underway. As previously mentioned, it will be a 1v1, then we'll jump into a 2v2 game in which everything could be decided by that point. Spidercon to get things going with an early goal, and just wide of the left-hand post, but positive signs from the Brazilian.
He's playing so slick right now, he's Spidercon. That move, connecting all the dots. And Leo Messi on it. Right boot, just firing wide, but a great start here for Spidercon.
As we said, Richard, I think roughly it's about 190 teams tried to qualify for the FIFA eClub World Cup. There was 24 that travelled out to Milan. We're down to the final 4, and what this means, I hear you ask, 10,000 US dollars already guaranteed to both of these teams, even if they do crash out in 4th or 3rd, and more importantly, 800 Global Series points are also guaranteed per player. What that will do to the Global Series, Richard, could be massive, as, of course, you've got Dami sitting in the top 10 and also Spidercon in the top 10 at this moment in time.
On the other side of that, Joxan making some huge moves alongside Maxi VIP in the Global Series rankings. He came into the tournament 32nd and 43rd, respectively. They'll be jumping high up into the top teens with this performance.
It has been all Spidercon at the moment, just 15 minutes gone. The first time we've really seen him start the game as well. There's the through ball into R9, tried to latch onto that. But the only touch he could get was a faint one. Went back to the goalkeeper, and possession will change hands back again to Complexity.
With the group stages how they were always PlayStation 4 first, so as you said, I think this could be the first time Spidercon has actually played first in the entire tournament.
Dead air.
See if that affects him.
And of course, Richard, on both times that they've had that ability to choose the starting console, they have gone for Dami on the PlayStation 4. That was in the round of 16 yesterday against FaZe Clan, and earlier today in the quarter-finals against Bruno Rautel from Sporting Club de Portugal.
That's where you really feel it as a passenger. You're like, whoa, it sort of like sways left to right.
On the right time
as he's
to give the Brazilian the start in this semi-final.
You see a very slow start here from Maxi VIP, looking for the driven passes into his attacking players. He's pretty resilient though at the back.
Well,
doesn't seem panicked or tense or stressed by the occasion.
He's going to be backing Kevin De Bruyne as well in the midfield. Some players have been a fan of the Belgium this weekend in Milan. First time we can see Maxi VIP go forward. It is nice from him, R9. Little fake shot.
Yes, he got out.
Just going to lay off to
lining up over there.
the Dutchman, who's going to be taking that final stab at a goal. Mane. Six should have picked it up, but well defended.
Just
nice
around the
pass
box.
from the left.
He's trying to
There he is there. There's
room
his tail there.
goal.
That's him there. There he is.
Been really opening up though in that Roman defence.
333.
To reiterate, it is one leg of FIFA as well. Not the usual two-legged matches here at the Club World Cup. Each player gets 90 minutes of FIFA to make their stamp on the series.
No, I saw parts of the game. I saw an Iberia 330 parts of the game, but then he disappeared.
He has looked good when he's been in around the box into R9, and he goes down, and it will be a penalty. A chance for Spidercon to lead by a goal.
I don't really think he's done that much wrong, Patrick Vieira there.
There's the Iberia
in the tackle
going out.
Well, up steps
C1 going
R9.
out.
A few last words from Zelonius as well. You can see him step up, and it's R9. Goes left, and it's a huge save.
Breakdown, maybe a communication there between Zelonius and Spidercon. He definitely had a word with him.
British Airways
Before the penalty
Dreamliner,
was
Boeing
taken.
787 Dreamliner, folks.
One of them, though, in that situation.
Could be an 8, could be a 9. Oh, minor.
You want to be told.
I don't want to be told
You
what
don't
to
want to
do.
be told away. You don't want to be told away of what to go. You want to choose your own way going forward. This attack isn't over. Maybe it is now De Bruyne in that situation, Mitch. punching his own way.
300.
I'm surprised by the lack of penalties that aren't timed as well. You've got the ability to time penalties, and maybe you're not taking the risk. If you time it wrong, you're definitely going to miss, so you don't want to take the risk. But if you are timing penalties green, getting that better chance of scoring. It really is a conundrum for the players.
Well, after that penalty that was